Hey everybody, welcome to the studio. It's me, the old Cubbaroo. I'm so glad and so excited to let everybody know that starting next Tuesday, August 31st, 2021, The Cubby Show will be coming to multiple platforms, both on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, COGSK, all in small letters. When you go on there, you're going to see me do this. What I'd like you to do once you get there, like the page, subscribe to my page. There's going to be some exclusive stuff on there. It'll all be good. We're not only just going to be a sports talk podcast. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about pop culture. We're going to talk about collectibles. We're going to talk about movies and TV. I'm going to have some authors on. One of them will be Roger Osborne. A lot of people from the Philadelphia Options for may remember Roger from the Correction Post. He just had his first novel published, Howl of the Wolf. Roger's going to join us, and we're going to talk about his journey from the Correction Post to his book and how he got it all together to publish his first novel. I'm sure it's going to be a great one. We're going to have people like Teddy Friel, Phil Lenowitz. A recurring guest will be the one and only, one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, and I've known him now for probably 30 plus years, 35 years. Dan Rebecki will be joining us. He late of the Howard Stern Show, one of the greatest songs ever in the history of radio. We'll talk about that when Dan's on. We're also going to be doing a thing called Dan in the Street, where we're going to get Danny's take on whatever we want to talk about. But we will not talk about politics. That will be something that won't be talked about on here. Just basic news. And we're going to let Danny riff. The people to remember him from the trading floor know that he's one of the funniest people on earth. He'll be joining us on a recurring basis. Joe Kohut, the editor of the Senior Cannabis Digest, will be a recurring guest as well. Every week when he releases, it's about every 2 weeks, I believe. It's a bi-monthly newsletter. Everything you want to know in the world about cannabis. Imagine somebody like me having that on the show. It's not just going to be about the fun part of it. It's going to be about the business side. It's going to be about CBD, how it works, how it doesn't work, what you need to know to make it work for you. The business aspect about it is something we will discuss, and he will be a recurring guest as well. I'm going to have a doctor on. I have to make sure that she's okay, and she's going to talk about how cannabis can really help some people. I'm physically talking about an actual doctor. I just have to make sure that she's going to be able to make some time out of her busy schedule to join us. We're going to have a Boston apologist, Randall Hawks, join us if and when he can to talk everything there is about Boston, whether it's the Pats, whether it's the Sox, whether it's the Bruins, whatever. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. He's very knowledgeable. He'll be joining us on some of the upcoming weeks, and we're going to talk about Boston sports. We're also going to have Chris Brennan on. Everybody remembers CB. He is a true Renaissance man. He will be joining us. We're going to talk about his new venture. CB is one of the most selfless people I know, and we're going to talk about his new venture and what he can do to help people in need. I have used him to help some people in need. He's a great guy. He will do whatever he can. He'll be joining us on the show. We'll talk about that and delve further into that. I have a friend of mine. He's the drummer from the So Easy Blues Band, who just actually happens to have a gig coming up September 18th at Nick's Roast Beef on Cotman Ave. I'm going to try to see if I can get the drummer to join us and talk about, the set, the music. I have seen this band probably 4 or 5 times in my life at Daly's on Harbison Avenue and at the Hop Angel over at Ron and Huntington Pike. And they're very good. I've posted pictures of the band. I've posted videos of the band. They put on a great show. He's a good guy. Hopefully we're going to get him to join us before the gig, and he'll tell us what we need to look forward to, how to get there, all that kind of good stuff. Like to get a lot of people there. This band deserves a good crowd, and every time I've been there, they've had a good crowd. But this guy, once he agrees to show, I'll let you know who it is, and we'll go from there. I'm going to try to get people from the neighborhood, from the exchange. We'll talk about whatever we want to talk about. It looks good. I'm glad everybody's here. The continuing saga of dismissive asshat neighbors will appear from this studio, or maybe from out in the screen house. Who knows? Who cares? But it looks like we're going to be putting the fence up soon, so that should be an adventure. And also, I'd like to talk about the fact that now, while I was having a lovely libation and cooking in the screen house about a week ago, how he got thrown out of his house and he's not allowed to be on his cell phone in the house. He has to talk on his cell phone from his pickup truck. It was like the walk of shame down the steps. It's terrible. Also, there's going to be a couple recurring episodes. One will be Beers with Brad. Good friend of mine and neighbor Brad T. Miller will be joining us and tell us everything you need to know about beers that are craft beers. This guy is knowledgeable. He goes all around the country to get these beers. We'll be doing taste tests. That'll probably be from the screen house. We'll see how that goes. I also have a Game of Thrones apologist. Bob Allen will be joining us to talk everything there is about Game of Thrones and what's going on. And he's also a very knowledgeable sports fan and just a really good guy. He's getting married very soon. And we're going to have Bob on the show to talk about whatever we want to talk about. So I'm glad everybody was here. I know it took a long time. I did have some problems. I had to get some things together. Had to work on some lighting issues. I hope I look good. I hope I sound good. And I look forward to everybody joining me starting next Tuesday, August 31st, 2021, for the Cubby Show. Listen, I appreciate all the help and support you guys have given me since I started this on a whim last, I guess, October into November. But every Sunday for Eagles games, we'll be on Sunday morning. We'll talk about the game. We're going to try to go live to a couple other stadiums where I know people have season tickets. One of them will be Chicago. Hopefully the logistics of that will be able to be up and running and we could go live to Soldier Field for Chicago home games. Also, we'll talk to one of the smartest and craziest sports fans I know. Everybody from the Options Fuller knows him as JR. John Roberts will be joining us. We're going to get him away from those podcasts that he's always pushing on his Facebook page. We're going to get Johnny on here. We're going to talk about everything there is about sports in Philadelphia, and you will not find a much more knowledgeable fan. And also, he is also a USC apologist. And as he likes to say, for the uninitiated, they're the Trojans. So we're looking forward to have JR on this show. Listen, thanks for joining in. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you next Tuesday, starting with an episode of whatever the hell I want. Everybody, be good, stay safe. We'll talk soon. Thanks for everything.